Thank you. Then say stop.
So, Harry, sit there.
Yeah.
Have a look.
I want this job! And this is why I got it.
Yeah. Right. And thus the 24 hours of Peep Show begins now. It began with the first scene. In the grand scheme of things, a very simple one, containing a back and forth between Mark and Sophie.
Very clean, apparently, ruthlessly clean. Talking of which, badminton round robin? You still on for Wednesday?
Yeah. The foreground of the scenes were easy enough to film, hence why we were done so relatively quickly. 27 minutes in, scene 1 is complete. And not to mention some background acting from various actors you'll see everywhere. But the simplicity of this scene comes as a double-edged sword. With one easy scene done, the rest can only get more tricky. This is Nathaniel Uncles. He is playing Mark. This is Eddie Beryl. He is playing Jeremy. And these are a group of people who for some reason said yes to helping us in our insane endeavour to recreate the Peep Show episode Dream Job in 24 hours. Following this, we headed upstairs to film yet another back and forth scene between Mark and Sophie, this time featuring some noticeable additions. Firstly, we can see Tim, the main villain from the Pillow Quadrilogy, on Mark's desk. And behind Sophie in this shot we can see one of the masked assassins from the Quest of Cheese trilogy. Secondly, being a university library, we thought it best not to film Mark spilling his mug in shot. Instead, we shot the spilling in 3 parts, then stitched them together in the editing room. In this scene, we can also count the first of The Face of Judgment. And with that, another scene's done, an hour and a half in. After this, we left the library and headed to our next location. At this point, Nathaniel stayed behind to wait for other actors, while Eddie, Freya and Dylan started filming their scenes, complete with an absolutely authentic prop for the music studio. When the other actors arrived, we filmed one side of the band members' scene. Eddie's side of the scene will be filmed much later.
Ka-chow!
We can add another tally to the Face of Judgment now that 2.5 more scenes have been filmed. At this point, the group split. Nathaniel, Ev and Freya to the sports centre, Ed, Dylan, Harry and Ananya to the Isaac Newton building to film a very certain shot for the reception scene. That's it. We literally filmed this one shot to get the background actors. We would return later to film the rest of the scene. At the sports centre, time was particularly of the essence, as we only had an hour to film this complex scene. So, how are we doing for time? We have just come out of doing the entire badminton scene. We are 6 hours and 5 minutes in. We are now going to the pub. Not too shabby. On to the next scene. We travelled up the hill to the Straight and Narrow, who kindly gave us permission to film there. In that hour, we filmed a conversation between Jez and Superhands while the band speak in the background. We did, however, run into a bit of a problem. Since we've been filming more or less non-stop all day, the camera's battery is incredibly low and had to be kept plugged in. This, combined with the fact that we were filming in an active bar, meant that we had to deal with the other patrons. They didn't seem to mind, however. We can add one final tally to the Face of Judgment, and once again the group split off, but we'd be back at the Straight and Narrow very soon. Good evening. It is now 7 hours and 21 minutes into Peep Show in 24 hours. We have done about a third of the episode, and we are all very tired. But no rest for the wicked. We shall continue with our next scene, the therapist scene.
Dun dun dun.
The therapist scene was so easy. I mean, how could it not be when we were dealing with such professionals?
It will vanish in the background, but I realise this is...
I mean, we could start again.
We can start again.
Yeah. Our only real struggle was the glare of the setting sun, though this was corrected quite quickly. And before we knew it, it was time for dinner.
I need therapy. Is that good?
That was very good.
Well done, buddy.
After a much-needed spoon's dinner, we headed back to the straight and narrow for the dinner scene. Once again, we were filming in an active bar, but we were lucky enough to be given a section to ourselves, so we'd have all the time to go over lines without really dealing with the other patrons. This was doubly helpful, considering the lengthy monologues Mark had to say in this scene.
Can JLB's future wait until tomorrow?
Shit, that one first. Okay, can JLB's future wait till tomorrow? I don't think so. I think you're the idea that I was just too darn.
Oh no, that's recording now. Shit.
And making a grand return from the last pub scene, we have a shot containing 4 more tallies for the face of judgment. Once we had finished inside, we filmed the start of the scene outside of the pub, before heading back to the library for the pissing scene.
Wish she's gonna come over. Wait.
The pissing scene was... something. Contrary to what anyone might think from a name like that, we did not actually piss in the library. Instead, we poured a bottle of extremely watered down Tango Apple, completed the dialogue scene and the additional It's Not Piss scene right in time for the library to close. It is currently 9 minutes until we are officially halfway through Peep Show in 24 hours. We've started this journey at the library. 12 hours later, we are still at the library. As we headed into the night, Nathaniel sprinted back to the house to prep both a prop for the next scene and his dinner. The next scene will be filmed across 3 different locations: Nathaniel's house, Robin's house, and Licorice Park. When filming the first part of the scene, we made a considerable effort not to wake the neighbours.
Oh, hello. Sorry for being loud.
We failed. After that, we headed to Robin's to run around a lot and get intimidated by our very real and authentic dog, and definitely not Robin using a stuffed toy panda. Once that was done, we headed to Licorice Park and made G stand in a tree.
It's fine, man. Take your time. Some of us aren't in a tree or anything.
By this point, it was 2:20 and needed to film the second Rwenge scene very soon, so we said goodbye to G and Harry and departed for Dylan's without a second to lose. At this point in the filming process, the weight of the challenge was getting to us. As for a lot of us, the lines were being fed to us during filming, and at this point it tended to mean we got a bit clumsy.
Looking really hard if you could start screaming like
That's the first one.
it would be this too for the cat.
Oh, is that? Oh, okay. Don't need to, I thought we wanted to do it in the same thing. Okay.
Yeah, I think she made the right decision. Not the right.
I think you made it right.
Nevertheless, we got on with it, allowing us to film both Dylan and Eddie pretend to get pepper sprayed. By the time we left, the sun had risen again, and with no time to lose, we headed to the high street to film the intro scene with Dylan and Freya. It was at this point in the day where we were so close to finishing the film, we couldn't afford any distractions. Also, coupled with the intense yearning to sleep, we wanted to get these scenes finished as quickly as possible. By the time we had finished on the high street, we headed back to Nathaniel's to drop any unnecessary items and film the Bob Ross scene. This required some extra props we'd forgotten to make, mainly our attempts to replicate what Bob was painting on TV. Though considering we had roughly 6 hours left, we weren't expecting to win any awards. Once we had finished with the dialogue, it was time for breakfast.
4 hours left.
With a very delirious breakfast completed, Dylan and Eddie went back to the Isaac Newton building to film the rest of the reception scene, only to find a conference in the middle of the atrium. Instead, we hurried to another building to film the reception scenes there. After that, we went upstairs to finally finish Jeremy's side of the band scene, more than 12 hours after the first half was filmed. By this point, there was only one more scene to film.
Well, Eddie clap.
Okay.
Yeah, Nathaniel.
Shit, yeah. I just need to. Do I just like...
It said clap as well.
Oh, clap as well?
Yeah.
Oh wait, I need to say my line.
Yeah.
What's my line?
That's a very good question.
We weren't prepared.
Clearly not.
It ended? It ended with the final scene. With Ev arriving 2 hours to spare, we were able to get their scenes done incredibly quickly, and then we moved swiftly onto our own dialogue scenes. Luckily, the fact that we were nearly 24 hours into this challenge meant that the unkempt look of Mark and Jeremy in the scene was very, very easy to replicate. And before we knew it, it was time to film the final shot.
Hey Mark, found it.
Audio has stopped recording. Can we get it up just so then when I say we're all done, we can stop the timer.
Hey Mark, found it. 23 hours, 12 minutes, and 57 seconds.
Way!
Hooray!
High five!
Yeah!
23 hours, 12 minutes and 57 seconds. An entire episode of Peep Show filmed in under 24 hours. We had done it. Though this had been a passion project from Ed and Nathaniel, it could not have been accomplished without the entire group, from standing in trees to all around judging the camera. Now, even though the film had been completed, there was still much left to do, mainly the voiceovers and the editing. But that didn't matter now. Now it was time for Ed and Nathaniel to get some much needed rest and sleep.